Applied Phys A3. Muscle growth anabolic steroids. Anabolic steroids were developed in order to cure hypogonadism, which is where there isn't enough testosterone being produced. It was then discovered that with the aid of training, it stimulates muscle growth. Anabolic steroids are used a lot by athletes that require strength in their sport. For example, this may be a sprinter or weightlifter. The reason they do this is because it enhances muscle growth, meaning that they will be stronger for their event and have an advantage over their opponent and are more likely to win. A sprint athlete with more muscle will be more powerful. Therefore, they'll be able to run faster and have a better chance of winning. This will increase their performance because they'll be able to win more races, and the result of this is that they're going to get more money and success, which is why athletes do it. However, there are many side effects that come with anabolic steroids. They can cause problems like severe joint pain, high blood pressure, and an increased risk of cancer. Severe joint pain will cause the athlete to struggle more in their event because it may cause them a lot of discomfort when performing. This could also lead to them having to retire earlier because they can't continue with the pain of running. This will mean that the steroids will end up having a negative impact on their performance because they won't be able to perform as naturally as before. There are also physical and psychological effects of steroids. Physical effects include hair loss, reduced sperm count, and infertility. This is negative because these are factors that will cause negative thoughts for an athlete. For example, they may feel more emotions like depression or anger because they have lost the ability to potentially have children. As well as this, steroids can cause severe acne, which may also have an effect on an athlete's mental health, as they become more insecure on their image, leading to a decrease in confidence, which could show when performing. Moreover, it can also cause psychological effects like aggression and paranoia, which may cause the athlete to become more anxious. This will have a negative impact on their performances because by becoming anxious, they'll perform less confidently and therefore they won't be maximising their full ability. Weight control laxatives. Laxatives are a form of weight control which increases the loss of waste on the body. They are used predominantly by athletes who need to make a certain weight in order to participate in their sport. For example, this may be in combat sports like MMA or boxing, or jockeys may use it in horse racing. This is because athletes in combat sports must be a certain weight to have a fight in order to make it a fair contest, otherwise an athlete could have a superior weight advantage over an opponent, which could help them to win. By taking laxatives, it will get rid of waste in the body quicker and more efficiently, so that the athlete can make this certain weight and avoid anything like disqualification. The advantages of laxatives for a performer are that it helps to lose weight and it can help to dilate the body. By losing weight, the athlete can participate in their event, which is good because it means they are going to be able to have a chance at winning, which could increase the amount of money they receive. As well as this, laxatives can flush other drugs out of the body, so that if an athlete was using drugs in their training camp to help them prepare, then the laxatives will get rid of them out of the body, so it's harder for them to be caught cheating or be disqualified. However, the disadvantages outweigh the advantages a lot. This is because laxatives can cause severe physical effects on the body. It can cause dehydration, dizziness, fainting, vomiting, muscle cramps, and heart and kidney damage. This is because not only are waste products being flushed out of the body, but a lot of water is too. The laxatives cause the water to be flushed out from the body relatively quickly, and therefore is hard to replace, causing dehydration. Dehydration is a big problem because the lack of water will cause the athlete to feel nauseous, dizzy, and faint. Considering that laxatives may be taken a couple of days before a fight in order to make the weight a day before, then this will have a massive effect on their performance, because the lack of water means that their blood becomes more viscous and so oxygen and nutrients can't be carried to the muscles as well, which will result in the athlete having less oxygen in the working muscles, and therefore they won't be able to perform as well without the impact of lactic acid throughout the fight, which will make them fatigue quickly. As well as this, muscle cramps will make it more painful for the athlete to participate, decreasing their performance, and heart and kidney damage will put their life more at risk, decreasing their potential lifespan. Oxygen-related blood doping. Blood doping is an aid used by endurance athletes. This is where an athlete may have an intense training camp at a high altitude like the Kalenji region. By training at this altitude for around 6 weeks, the athlete's body will adapt to produce more red blood cells. This gives the athlete the ability to carry more oxygen than normal. From this, blood is taken from the athlete and frozen for 6 to 8 weeks. Then, the blood is injected back into the athlete so that they have more oxygenated blood in their body, and therefore more oxygen can be delivered to the working muscles. This benefits them in performance because having more oxygen in the working muscles, they can work anaerobically for longer, meaning that in long-distance races it will delay the onset of lactic acid. This will give them an advantage because when others in the race may be struggling, the athlete will still be working aerobically because they have that extra oxygen helping them through. However, there are some severe side effects. Blood doping causes the blood to become thicker and therefore is harder to pump around the body. This will put more strain on the heart, increasing the risk of heart attacks. This is especially bad for an endurance athlete because they will be running for long periods of time anyway, which will mean that their heart rate will increase, causing the heart to work even harder than it needs to. Other risks are that the needles used to transfer the blood back into the body could pose a threat. This is because there are diseases that can be passed through dirty needles such as AIDS. This is detrimental to the athlete's health and therefore is important to avoid this risk as it is a possibility this can happen. Painkillers, narcotics. These narcotics include the likes of morphine, heroin, methadone and ketamine, as well as painkillers as well. It is used to give the athlete a high and reduce fear and anxiety. It helps to manage the pain and therefore is used best for MMA fighters because they will be able to feel less pain from their fights and have less fear, so they are likely to be more aggressive in their fights. However, narcotics have a negative impact on the performer's coordination, balance and mental abilities. This will negatively affect the performance of the athlete because they may not be as concentrated or focused on the fight and will be more complacent, meaning their opponent has a better chance of landing a shot on them. Furthermore, the biggest risk that comes with these narcotics is addiction. Addiction will mean that they are more likely to take them, which increases the risk of them being caught cheating and banned. Also, the risk of them performing under strong analgesics is that they aren't going to feel the pain as much, and therefore their opponents could do more damage to them without them being able to feel it, which will mean that they will keep fighting in the match, giving more time to get injured and have a big effect on their health. Stimulants, cocaine. These drugs mimic the sympathetic nervous system, as is a 6-in-1 drug. They have many effects on the body, including making the athlete more alert mentally. This will make them more aware of the things going on, and it will make them more energetic because it increases how the individual feels overall. This may be used by an MMA fighter because it will make them more alert for their fight and increase their energy for the fight. The side effects of stimulants are overexertion, which can lead to heat stroke and cardiac failure. This is because the stimulant makes them more energetic, meaning they will be exerting more energy than usual, increasing their body temperature and causing heat stroke. This will lead to more dizziness and confusion, which will negatively impact their performance, because they won't be as concentrated when the drug wears off. As well as this, the blood pressure will be increased on the performer, which puts more strain on the heart, increasing the risk of heart attacks. Moreover, the athlete will have an irregular heartbeat, which is potentially dangerous, as it may struggle to pump the blood out as efficiently. Relaxant beta blockers. Beta blockers are used to lower the heart rate and blood pressure of the performer and to reduce their anxiety. This means that they may be used by athletes in sports such as darts or archery, because by lowering the heart rate and reducing the anxiety of the performer, is going to improve the steadiness of the athlete and have a positive impact on their aim. The side effects of beta blockers are that they lower the heart rate and blood pressure, which could be potentially dangerous, as along with tiredness, the heart could stop working. This is obviously a big side effect because the beta blockers could potentially result in death. Also, the impact of a low blood pressure is that it can result in the blood not getting passed around the body as well, and can cause fainting and dizziness due to not getting to the brain. This would have a negative impact on performance because instead of having a good aim due to having a lower heart rate, the aim would be reduced by low blood pressure because the dizziness will make it harder for them to concentrate on the target, resulting in a higher chance that they're going to miss the target, which will decrease their chances of winning.